Jackie was one of those.
Her relationship had ended, and she was pregnant. A loving mother already, she didn't believe in abortion, yet she wanted her baby to grow up in a loving and Christian two-parent home. She knew she couldn't live with a closed adoption, so she contacted Abrazo, a Texas nonprofit agency specializing in open adoption. She chose Chad and Charlene to be her baby's parents and spent the remainder of her pregnancy building a friendship with them, one that would last her child's lifetime. When her baby was born, Jackie was in love with her new son, just as any new mother is. She treasured her time with her newborn, knowing she could never have entrusted his future to strangers. That's why she chose open adoption, so her child could forever enjoy the love of both his families. They're truly one family. He is growing up with a foundation from his birth mother and with wings his adoptive parents have provided him. Jackie's not alone. She's part of a sisterhood of birth mothers at Abrazo. They're strong, courageous women who all face the same difficult decisions, yet chose open adoption to give her child a brighter future. They get together to support one another. They share stories and discuss why open adoption was so vital in their lives and how it shaped their future and the future of their children for good.
I think every one of our birth moms embraces the idea of open adoption just because it's only the beginning of the journey rather than the end of their relationship with that child.
I think it made it a lot easier to trust, to feel comfortable that I knew my kids were in a safe place.
I wanted to do a closed adoption for my sake, and then I chose to do an open adoption for my daughter because I knew if she had questions, I wanted to be there to answer them for her, and I'm so glad that I chose an open adoption.
Honestly, I would try to forget him if I wasn't able to contact him because it would be really hard for me to think about him. Being able to talk to them and seeing that, it makes me feel better that he's doing good, that he's getting what I could not, everything he got, I could not do it. I wasn't able to do it.
But the open option is good. Like, I think we both understand what we need. I'm not that person that I want to have updates every week, every day. Like, I don't want that. Every couple months, let me know.
I knew from the very beginning they were good people. But as I got to know them even more, I got to see who they really were and how down to earth they were and how much they loved kids.
Me and the adoptive mom got very close. She's like my sister. It's just better than I could imagine.
They've raised them both amazingly. They've done great things with them.
You'll show up and we'll say, okay, so what are you looking for? Well, I want a childless couple. Well, let me pull out the ones that have children. I want a local couple, so let me pull out the ones that are not local.
My thing was, I'm a sports person. Like, I love sports. So if I have a family, like, I need someone that, like, enjoys sports as much as I.
So I was looking for things that I felt like I didn't have in my life growing up.
We offer them the profiles that we know is what they're looking for.
It was really the adoptive father's letter that kept resonating with me.
He was telling me stories about when he grew up, and they were similar stories about when I grew up. Like, he used to go rattlesnake hunting with his dad, and I used to do that with my dad, and he was a baseball coach, and I feel like he had characteristics that I wanted in a father for my son.
They were also, like, Spurs fan. They love college football. They were Sooner fans. I'm like, I'm not a Sooner fan, but I mean, I can deal with that.
So I talked to them, I think it was 3 or 4 hours on the phone, and I knew that it was them.
Yeah.
Before I'd even seen their picture, before I'd even seen their house, what they looked like.
It was my daughter's nursery. There was a lion in it, and I love lions. They're my favorite animal, and I was like, those are the people I want to be my daughter's parents. And I spoke with them. I fell in love with her parents, her dad, her mom. I was like, these are the people that I want.
I knew that that was his family. That was the family he was supposed to be raised by.
And then when it's time, you call them and let them know that you're going into labor, and they come and they get to be with you in the delivery room.
After I came out dirty when I had kicking, it kind of freaked me out when I saw how skinny he was. I didn't want a baby to come out like that, so after that day, I haven't done any drugs since then.
I wasn't in the right place in my life to be the mother of a child.
They drove all the way to Tennessee with him. I was like, dang, that would suck. I'm just saying, that would suck. I mean, in a car with the baby for like all the way to Tennessee, a brand new newborn, that's a long drive, I bet.
Always told him since day one, he knows me as his first mom. I'm always first mom, and we have a photo of us when he was little.
There's no question about who I am. She'll say, she's my birth mom.
When I talk to him, I'll ask him who's calling you or who's talking to you, and he'll go, my birth mommy Billy.
He calls me Mama Jackie.
I'm her Lala. Every time when she talks to me and her friends are there, she'll say, this is my Lala, but y'all call her Loranda. So she's very close with me.
I'm able to see how much they love him and what they provide for him, and that they are so willing to include me in everything, and it's just awesome.
I can see her anytime, I can talk to her anytime, and I love it.
There's a lot of things I think about, like when's he walking? I ask him all the time, how many teeth does he have? Does he have freckles? Can you get a picture of him like snoring? Can you get a video of him like giggling? I ask for all that stuff. And I try not to be too needy because they're the ones raising him and they gotta deal with him screaming and changing his diaper and stuff.
For the first 9 years of his life, I only saw pictures and I talked to them on the phone. I wasn't in a position financially to visit them as I lived in Texas and they lived in North Carolina.
When it's time to our visitation, we visit always New Year's and then always his birthday in August. So I was like, when it gets to that time, we always message hey, what are we doing?
When they would come into town, they would take us to SeaWorld, take us to Fiesta, Texas, take us different places.
We met each other and it was amazing, and he's incredible.
It actually turned out what I expected, like really what I wanted it to be. He would talk to me when we would take pictures, he would smile. So it was kind of, a blessing to me to have, to get to be able to know him.
I'm happy that I chose to place her for adoption, because I know if we would have kept her, it would have been difficult.
But I don't feel guilty because I know they're right where they should be.
I would have not done as good a job they are. Yeah. They do a really good job.
The first son that I did place for adoption, he is 21 now. He'll be 22 in June, and he does live with us currently. He's in and out. He's developing a career.
He said, I'll be really honest though. He was like, I love you and I've always loved you. He was like, but I am so grateful for my dad. And he's like, I am best friends with my dad. My dad is my best friend, and if you hadn't made the choice that I did, I would never have my dad, and he is just my rock.
It makes a lot of sense to be around people that share the same experiences that you've gone through, and you can kind of, hey, this is what worked for me, or this is what didn't work for me.
For me personally, I just like hearing other people's stories, and if I can help someone with my story.
I didn't think anybody would understand. And knowing that there's other women out there that do understand and do feel the same way, it's a huge help.
It gives me the ability to be in a room with people that get it, that have been in the same exact position that I've been in, whether it was recent or 20 years ago. It gives me a connection to other birth moms, because you don't find them out in the real world. You just don't walk up and say, hey, my name is Alicia and I'm a birth mom.
Knowing that there's other people out there who can understand what you have gone through, what you're going through, is so beneficial.
Birth Mom Strong!